Hello, this is the leadership book critique. Let Leaders Eat Last by Munguia. That's me. Um, I start with introducing myself. My name is Munguia, and I'll be sharing my video critique today. I'm excited to talk about this book because I think leadership is one of the most powerful skills we can learn, not just for work, but for life. I've always been interested in how people inspire others, build trust, and lead with purpose. Throughout my time in this class, I've learned that leadership is not about being in charge, it's about taking care of the people that you're in charge of. The idea connects perfectly with what this book's all about. I hope by the end of the presentation, we'll be able to see how Sinek's ideas connect with what we have studied in this class about leadership, intelligence, and the power of culture and teamwork. To our bibliographic citation, the one I have presented is the book that I read. This book was published by Penguin Books and has 368 pages. I listened to the audiobook on Audible, but it's also available on print, but that is not the version I use. One cool feature of this edition is that it includes real-life examples from companies, the military, and healthcare, showing how leadership works in different environments. This book also includes a discussion guide that helps readers apply the lessons that they learn to their own teams and their own lives. Introductions. I chose Leaders Eat Last because I wanted to understand more about about what makes people trust and follow strong leaders. I first heard about Simon Sinek on TED Talk and was interested after I seen what we watched this video about in baseball. This book fits what we've been learning because it connects leadership with an emotional intelligence, motivation, and team behavior. The main goal of this book is to show what great leaders create environments where people feel safe, value, and motivated to still work together. Sinek calls this circle of safety, which means leadership builds cultures that protect people from an internal politics and fear. This matches well with what we've learned about servant leadership and transformational leadership in this class. What I hope to get out of this book was a better understanding of how leaderships can build trust and loyalty through actions instead of words. The language is easy to follow and the examples make the concepts very clear, so it's perfect for students studying leadership or anyone who wants to become a better leader. Summary. Leaders Eat Last explores why some teams come together and more fall apart. Sinek uses biology and psychology to explain leadership and teamwork connect to chemicals in our brain, like endorphins, dopamine, serotonins, and oxytocin. He also says these are feel-good chemicals that motivate people and build each other's trust. When leaders create a strong circle of safety, these chemicals become to work harder and stay loyal towards one another. He starts by comparing leadership to military, where officers literally eat last after their troops. This act shows leadership is about service and sacrifice. He then explains in organizations, good leaders do the same by putting their team's needs before their own. Throughout the book, Sinek uses real companies like Marines, Costco, and Southwest Airlines to show how cultures built on trust outperform those driven by fear or short-term profits. He argues that toxic workplaces where people compete against each other or fear of losing their jobs triggers cortisol, the stress chemical, which destroys trust and loyalty. One of his main purposes is that in the leadership, it is not a rank or a title, but it's a choice to become a leader. Anyone can lead by caring about the people around them. The book ends with the message that modern leaders must focus less on numbers and more on people if they want long-term success. Critique. When I compare this book to what we've learned in the class, I see strong connections to several leadership theories. First is servant leadership from our textbook. Servant leaders focus on the growth and well-being, and that's exactly what Sinek means by leaders eat last. Instead of using authority to gain power, servant leaders use it to help others succeed. Another connection is to transformational leadership, which focuses on inspiring followers through vision and emotional connection. Sinek's circle of safety idea connects with transformational leaders and helps motivate them to feel a part of something bigger. He also talks about a path goal theory, which is about how leaders help their teams reach goals by providing direct direction and support. Sinek's examples of great organizations show how leaders remove barriers and create environments which more people can thrive in a more diverse environment. From my own experience as a student athlete, this book reminded me of how good coaches lead teams. The best ones care about the people, not just the performers. They build trust and unity, which makes everyone play harder, not just the best guys. That's the same principle Sinek describes. People will give their all when they feel safe and supported. One critique I have is that Sinek sometimes repeats ideas. The stories are powerful but can feel long. However, this message stays consistent and clear. He keeps you along easily. He keeps you easy along to follow, and the organization of the book makes sense from start to finish. Overall, the book's idea matches what the leadership theory says about empathy, culture, and ethical responsibility. It doesn't just describe leaderships, it shows how to live it. Recommendation. I would strongly recommend this book to anyone who wants to learn about how to be a true leader. This book changed my life on how I think about success and teamwork. It went into expecting it to be another here or there business book that we all see, but it turned out to be about people. I hope the book would teach me how to build stronger relationships and leadership, and it did exactly that. What surprised me is how much Sinek focuses on the brain and the biology of human and their emotions. It made me realize that leadership is not just a strategy, but it's about understanding people's needs. I believe Sinek met his goal of showing how great leaders build on trust and loyalty. His values of empathy, care, and responsibility align with my own. The book made me reflect on how I want to be a leader in the future and continue doing that with integrity and compassion. It also fits perfectly with this course because it brings together leadership theory, creativity, and ethics, and also talks about culture in a way that's simple but powerful. If more people followed Sinek's ideas, workplaces and teams everywhere would be a lot stronger. So yes, I would recommend this book to any student, any athlete, or any future leader who wants to make a real difference in the world. And here's my references. These helped me get to see about the book, and then it helped me also in order to get to see understanding the different types of leadership and the different chemicals of the brain and the different things that go in to creating such a uniteful and powerful team. And with that being said, that would be it. Thank you.